So guys, as you can see here, this you can see there's a conventional business and technology, and then there's a barrier between them. So just have a look back few years, like when we didn't have e-commerce, or like we didn't have taxis, you can book online taxis. So the business was something different. The business was conventional model, and then we didn't have technology integrated into it. But now, since few years back, when we started integrating technology with business, conventional business, then what happens? What we figure out this thing? That technology is reinventing business. Be it e-commerce, like earlier when we used to go for shopping, be it if you want to purchase some clothes or if you want to purchase anything, then we used to go to some shops to purchase and whatever the things we require. But nowadays, we can just simply sit at home and order something. So this way, just have a look at this thing, how the business has been reinvented with the type of technology. People like the business vendors, they used to only have limited access to customers. But since we are having few things like e-commerce, and so they are actually having larger customer base, because of which they are able to make more profit. And then similarly goes to some online taxi services, like you can book taxi sitting at home. You don't need to go to a travel agent anymore. So that's the kind of reinvention which technology has made in the business models. Now just have a look at this thing, revenue domination. Earlier, if you have a look at the things earlier, then we had large number of conventional businesses. But nowadays, the revenue domination is like we are having 77% of the conventional businesses which have moved into the technology sphere. They are using technologies as their main support for the business. That's why they are having a dominating revenue as compared to the businesses which are still conventional model. There's only 23%. So this way. Now, again talking about some few more technology which have been definitely been path-breaking in terms of revolutionizing the way you can modify and reinvent the business. So one of those technologies, I think they list out something. So I'm having 20 patents on my name. So one of those patents is called Payu, which is a technology which I invented in which I revolutionized the payment system, where I have tried to remove the entire currency system. Like you won't need to carry any change or any money. It can be done simply with a tap. Like see, if I ask you that can you use a Nokia 1200 and a smartphone for transaction just by simply tapping them? Can it be done? What do you think? No? Okay. But if I say that yes, I've made this thing possible, and you can actually do a transaction just by simply tapping even a Nokia 1200 also with your smartphone. So that's the thing here. So this technology is called Payu. So just have a look at this thing. Okay, suppose if I ask, I'll just explain you the concept behind it. Like if I ask you, what is dV by dt? I think most of you must be aware about this thing. Physics. dV by dt, what is it? What it is? Acceleration. Great. So if I ask you the definition of dV by dt, what it is? It's the difference in velocity upon time, or you can say variable velocity upon time. I think this thing is clear to everyone. Now if I ask you about this thing, dA by dt, what is the derivative of acceleration? Can someone tell this thing? Great. Because, like suppose if you are accelerating, and then, like suppose if I'm driving a scooter, I'm moving it, accelerating it. Suddenly I just reduce the acceleration, and then again I accelerate. I will get a jerk. So this Payu technology works on the principle of jerk. Suppose if you are having a phone, suppose though it's a remote, if this is a phone, if I tap it with my finger, then the phone will detect a tap. And the tap can be from your finger, maybe from your nose. It will be the same thing for the phone. It's simply going to be a tap. Be it your leg, if you are using your feet, your hand, or your nose, anything. It will simply be a tap. But just think of this thing. If I tap this thing with my finger, then a different jerk will be created on the screen of the phone. If I tap it with my nose, different jerk will be created. If I tap it with some other device, like suppose if I'm tapping it with a laptop or a tablet or something else, the jerk will be different. So this way, what we did, like with the help of the going at native level coding, with the help of digital signal processing. This is the thing. So when you just tap the screen, a jug is created over there. So like using this thing and making with the help of digital signal processing, without adding some hardware or any sensor to the your device, we were actually able to detect the jug, identify this thing, that actually what the jug isn't created by which device or which particular part, maybe by a hand or by a laptop or by maybe a person's nose or anything it can be. So that way we have been able to detect this thing that yes, the transaction is being done from this particular model, this particular device, and this transaction needs, if you go, maybe the transaction will be realized in 5 seconds, and you will even get a message from the bank acknowledging your transaction within just 5 seconds. So this is the technology which we call Payu. And just think of it, how it can revolutionize the entire business. Suppose if you want to go somewhere, you don't need to go to the bank. You can do the transactions without going to the bank. So this thing is ultimately saving your time, giving you more time to focus on your business and on your work. Thus, I'm trying to revolutionize the entire business system. And this thing will actually, give you more security, because there's a two-step identification and this thing verification security process involved. Like suppose first of all you have to do the tapping system. So it will definitely identify this thing that which particular device it is. Then you will be assigned a unique code for each device which you are using. You have to enter that. After that, you get an OTP in both the devices. Be it a Nokia 1200, also you can get an OTP that in that as well. So that OTP, once you enter it, then only you can make a transaction. So that will make it much more secure. So this way, just think, you don't have to worry about carrying cash. You will be saving so much money, like if you don't have to produce those notes, those coins. That will be ultimately saving us money. So this is how this is one of my technologies which can be used to reinvent the business system entirely. Now, talking about some of the key innovators for businesses. Like these days you must be hearing about these things like holograms, VR and AR. So, talking about holograms, there are pretty cool like headsets out there in the market. Like when I went to Microsoft last year, I was working on this thing called HoloLens, and I was basically working on holograms. So we made something where you can actually, you can bring holograms in your real world. Suppose we were working on a project for Volvo, where we were making a showroom in which it was a virtual car showroom. Like suppose if I'm going to the showroom, to that virtual showroom to buy a car. And if I want to see the car is there. You can see the car entirely in a proper size. And if you want to see the internal portion over there, you can simply pull this thing here. You pull out the gate. You can move the entire body. You can see the engine, what engine has been used in there. You can see even a single screw and nut. What exactly is in there without actually going up, like actually opening a car. And you can change different colors. And if you want to see the car in your hand, you can just swipe this thing, and the car will be in your hand for a better view. And if you want to try a test drive, you can go for a virtual test drive, which will put you in a simulation where you can actually you'll be feeling how is it like driving. So you can go for a test drive as well in the showroom, in that holographic showroom. Now suppose if I'm being a business vendor, I want to sell something like a washing machine or maybe a refrigerator, and I want to show the customer a demo of it. So I don't need to send the entire refrigerator or the entire device or the entire big machine to the home of the customer. I can simply send a hologram or share the hologram with the customer, and the customer can have a look, and he can definitely try it like it's real. The washing machine or maybe the refrigerator, he can definitely have a look at all the features sitting at his home without actually visiting the shop. Now talking about VR and AR. So there's a lot of confusion in this thing. What is VR and AR? So like VR is called virtual reality and AR is your augmented reality. So like I'll just give you an example of VR. VR is like something you are being put into a virtual surrounding, not something coming into your world. Like suppose if I'm watching a movie which is based on virtual reality. So in that case, what I'll be doing is, I'm sitting here and I'll be taken into an entire different surrounding which is virtual, which is not real. And for the AR, the best example nowadays trending thing is like Pokemon Go, where you get Pokemons or the elements, virtual elements augmented into your real surroundings. So that's the example of AR. So just think of it, like there are so many possibilities of reinventing the entire business system which we have to create so many more possibilities out there, so many more ideas, so many more scope, lot of possibilities for development of skills, many more opportunities. So with this thing, I'll just conclude my session that this is how technology is reinventing business. And now I think we'll be wrapping this thing up. So this is about like TED. It's really a great platform where we actually share the ideas. It's about celebrating ideas with our word spreading. So thank you guys for coming here and attending this wonderful session and making it successful. Thank you all. Thank you all.